Hey there, welcome to the GMG review. I'm Ash, and today I'm taking a look at Psychic Awakening, Faith and Fury, or as it should probably be called, Codex Supplement Black Templars, and Spiky Boys, and some hints of what's to come. So this is the second in the Psychic Awakening series of probably a bunch of Psychic Awakening books. This is just moving the plot forward for 40k. And in this one in particular, there's not a lot of plot moving forward. In fact, of all of the new campaigny kind of books, this one maybe jumps to the point the fastest. Where other ones might have, a couple dozen pages of fluff. This one gets right to it. Page 20, we're done talking about what's going on. We're done talking about all the current comings and goings in, what's the MacGuffin place called this time? Talatot, which is a minor system outside of Terra where just weird shit's happening. You know, people are getting messed with by Corferon. He's back, apparently, just spreading the word from the word bearers and lighting up chaos pinatas and stuff. I don't know, all over the deep Imperium. So it's not just happening in Imperium Nihilus on the other side of the Cicatrix Maledictorum. It's happening right here at home next to Terra. And then there's other weird things happening too. Like every now and again, stuff happens. Magical stuff, endlessly magical stuff appears and gets hinted at in this book, in this Faith Unbound thing. I'll give you the exact quote here. The immense eruption of psychic energy unleashed by the Cicatrix Maledictum gave rise not only to warp-spawn nightmares, but acts of faith and wondrous miracles on a scale unheard of. Humble mortal worshippers of the God Emperor bore witness to manifestations of the Emperor Angelic, flocks of golden eagles, and columns of scintillating flame that seared demonic and heretic flesh alike. These miracles galvanized those that bore witness to them, firming their resolve and filling their hearts with defiance, even if in the face of the horrors unleashed against them. So began a great war of faith, set the dark prophets, the heretic Astartes aside, against the acts of hope and belief, inspired by the Sisters to Battle and their allies. So, tying in with the super sweet Sisters to Battle release coming, we've got this book right here. So it gives us the Black Templar Codex supplement. It gives us the description of Talatot and the stuff going on in Talatot. You can see your Talatot is right here, right next to Terra and Mars, so right near home. And there's a subsector too. The Veritas subsector has the Talatot system in it. So it's Veritas subsector, Talatot system, which has Benediction, a shrine world, hence the Sisters of Battle are there. Nihilus, a hive world, Coras Veltis, a mining world, Boras Minor, a mining world, and Gedrask, a garrison world, and Satrapol, a shipyard. And all the folks that are hanging out there. There's Night Lords, there's the Siren Fleet of the Emperor's Children, there's Sons of Vengeance, Iron Warriors, who else? Word Bearers, the Gore Legion of Chorus, Brother of the Knife, Black Templars, White Scars, Cadians, Salamanders, other forces in the theater, basically. And so yeah, it doesn't skip very long into just getting right into the rules, which is I'm sure what most of you are here to hear about. So this is actually my favorite part. This is the little inquisitorial transcripts of just the weird stuff that's been happening. People disappearing, warships going silent, miracles happening, orcs eating everybody. The usual, it's 12 minutes to midnight in the Imperium all the time. And what you get is you get a mission set for unhallowed ground because Corferon and the Word Bearers have been staging uprisings, infesting cults to go and put weird shrines places and try to thin the veil again. Your new theater of war is basically a warp tear, and it gives you rules for doing all that fun stuff. So it's the dark. If you go, each player gets to determine one piece of terrain on the table that's spooky. It's got a thin sort of layer of reality near it. And anytime units ends a move within an inch of it, on a 4+, take a mortal wound because things nightmare you around there. And then Faith and Desperation, when a morale test is taken for a unit on a roll of a 1, no one flees, and they can move as if it was the movement phase, which is kind of neat. And then Devoured by Warp Denizens, when the last model unit is destroyed, roll a d6 for each other unit within 3 before moving it from play. Subtract 1 for the results being rolled for as a character. On a 4+, take a mortal wound, because it attracts badness from the other side. And then Boundless Energy, you can add 1 to your psych test totals, but if you do so, you take a mortal wound. And you got a cool, historical thing, the Stand at Saint Wall with its own strats, Underground Incursion, and that's it. And we jump right into the bonus stuff for the Astartes. Oh, I should have also mentioned everybody gets to upgrade all their characters to every Stepsis Stories player gets to upgrade all their characters to being Master of the Chapter. That's the other thing that's in here, not just the Templars and the Spiky Boys. So if you're a Space Marine player, you need to get this book. If you're a Black Templar player, you need to get this book because it's your supplement. If you're a Chaos Space Marine player, you need to get this book because all your Legion rules are in here. Unless you play Black Legion Renegades, in which case you should still be okay with the Vigils book. But then you still need to get it because it adds all the stuff the Space Marine Codex got for bolter drills and charging bonuses. So if you play Chaos, you have to get it. You play Marines, you have to get it. Play Templars, you have to get it. Yeah, this is kind of the Marine one. Last one's the Eldar one. This is like all the Marine stuff. And the Sisters get their own codex, so they don't really get... They get mentioned a lot, but they don't have anything in here. So Masters of the Chapter. Anybody can do this. You gain bonus chapter litanies based on your chapter if you have a special name chapter here, one of these 6. You become chapter commands, and if your army's Battleforged, you have access to a stratagem that upgrades the specific character or to be a leader of their specialism. This character is also given abilities and or characteristic changes to reflect their substantial experience and influential status. If they're your warlord, they get additional stuff. So you're really only going to do one of these because you only unlock everything if they're the warlord. Or if you get the upgrade, I think you get their relic though. If your army is led by a Space Marine warlord, you can give one of the chapter relics found in the appropriate section of this book to a Space Marine character from your army that matches the specific chapter command keyword. This can be done instead of giving the chapter relic from another source. So actually it's instead of, never mind. You don't get an extra one. Note that some weapons replace existing war gear, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so basically if you want this person to be your general and you want them to have their like bonus super Master of the Chapter ability, then you pay a CP and you get it. But first let's talk about the special chapter litanies that the first founding chapters get. The White Scars, they get an additional chapter one. If it's Battleforged, all chapter chaplains, including named characters in a Space Marine attachment, other than a super heavy auxiliary, and no litanies from the respective chapter. This is an addition to any other ones they know, so long as every unit from that attachment is drawn from the same chapter. If your chapter's from a successor, the aforementioned requirements are fulfilled. They know the appropriate chapter litany from their founding chapter, and the founding chapter keyword is replaced with the successor chapter keyword. For example, if your chaplain's a Crimson Fist, he knows the Imperial Fist litany, and the Imperial Fist keyword in this reference is changed to Crimson Fist instead. So White Scars, strike off the head. If this litany is inspiring, then when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, buy a model from a friendly White Scar unit within 6, you can reroll the wound roll. So reroll wounds, it's cool. Iron Hands, Medusan Führer. If this litany is inspiring, add one of the strength characteristic of models in friendly Iron Hand units within 6. Just +1 strength for everybody, because the Iron Hands, they weren't good enough. Imperial Fist, Fortress of Resolve. If this litany is inspiring, when resolving an Overwatch attack made by a model in a friendly Fist unit, within 6, 5 or 6 hits. Sure, why not? Give them 5+ Overwatch too. It's great. The Ultramarines get March from a Crag, if this litany is inspiring. Then when an advance roll or charge roll is made for a friendly Ultramarines unit within 6 of this model, you can reroll any or all dice results of 1. Salamanders, the Selfless Saviors. If this litany is inspiring, friendly Salamander units within 6 inches of this model can perform heroic interventions. And Raven Guards, Swift as the Raven, known for their swiftness. If this litany is inspiring, select one friendly Raven Guard unit within 6 of the model. This unit can shoot in a turn in which they fell back. If that unit can fly, it can charge in a turn in which it fell back. And let's talk about all these different duders. So the Master of Sanctity, you can upgrade a chaplain to be this. Now use it before the battle, select one chaplain model in your army that is not a named character. Until the end of the battle, they gain the Master of Sanctity keyword and the following ability. This model knows an additional litany from the litanies of battle and can recite one additional litany at the start of the battle round. You can only use a stratagem once per battle, and your army cannot include 2 Masters of Sanctity from the same chapter. You gain the Wise Order. When you roll to see if they're inspiring, you can reroll the die. So 3+ rerolling now. You're a Bellowing Firebrand. Add 3 inches to the range of all their litanies. So like basically they get that bigger aura. And then you get your Relics of the Reclusium. If your army is led by a Space Marine Warlord, you can give one of the following chapter relics to Master of Sanctity. So you give them a 3+ Invulnerable for the Sacrosanct Rosarius, or the Emperor's Judgment. When resolving attack with this model with this relic, your opponent cannot reroll the hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll. So no rerolls against him for hitting, wounding, or damaging. In addition, when a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 6 of this model, roll 2 dice and discard the lowest. Master of the Forge. So Master of the Forge is a 1 CP, upgraded Tech Marine, but not a Tech Marine Gardener or a named character, so nobody else can get it. So at the end of the battle, they gain Master of the Forge, and the following ability, Master of the Forge, when this model repairs a model using Blessing of the Messiah, they gets 3 wounds instead of D3. You only use this once, not twice. And then your traits, if you're the Warlord, Master of the Machine. When resolving an attack made by a friendly vehicle within 6, add 1 to the hit roll. So just all those super sweet Forge Masters that everybody else got to give them +1 hit for vehicles. You can just have that now. Anybody can have that. Master of the Forge is going to be real popular. It's real popular hanging out with Leviathan, Dreadnoughts, and other folks. Just hanging out +1 to hit. It's unattacked, so it works in melee too. Doesn't have to be shooting. Warden of the Ancients, speaking of which, add 1 of the strength and attack characteristic of friendly chapter Dreadnoughts whilst within 6 inches of this Warlord. That's handy. He's just designed to hang out with Leviathans, apparently. And then his relics, he can choose one of these two. The Mortis Machina, it's power axe that's +3 strength, -3 AP and D3 damage, and resolving an attack made with the weapon against a vehicle unit. If the saving throw is failed, it does a mortal wound on top of any other damage. And then the Endurance Protector, add 1 of the toughest characters to the model with this relic, and a model with this relic has a 4+ invul. I mean, why would you not give him? If you're going to give him this big aura of buffs, why would you not also give him that? The Chief of Librarians. He's the man that runs the library. 1 CP, you gain the following power, and the Chief Librarian keyword. Chief Librarian, this model has 1 additional psych power from their chosen discipline, and can attempt to deny 1 additional psych power in your opponent's psych phase. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. And if he's the Warlord, he gets Psychic Mastery, +1 to your psych tests for the first one each phase. And then High Scholar of the Librarius. You can generate psych powers from any discipline that they can know powers from, rather than just generating from one. So basically, your powers can come from anywhere. You can pick and choose them. And then your 2 relics, you get the Vinculum Vitae, which replaces a 4-sword, sorry. +1 strength, -3 AP, D3 damage, and resolving an attack with this weapon and a modified wound roll of 6 does D3 mortal wounds instead of any other damage. The Neural Shroud, add 12 inches to the Psych Hood ability. That's pretty cool. I think I take that. If you're going for a Psyker, like, you don't want him fighting, you want him casting powers. And having a 24-inch, I think it's +1 to Dispel for Psych Hood. It's been a bunch of things in a bunch of different editions. I'm pretty sure right now it's +1 to Dispel. The Chief Apothecary, again, 1 CP. Gain the Chief Apothecary keyword. When this model provides medical attention to a unit, you can reroll the die to determine if a destroyed model is returned. And then you get, as Warlord, Father of the Future. If a model on a friendly chapter infantry or chapter biker unit would lose a wound, while they're within 6 inches of the Warlord, roll a d6. On a 6, it's not lost. If the flesh is weak, chapter tactic is in play. It's on a 5+ instead. So a 5+ wound shrug aura for Iron Hands, because they needed to get better, and a 6+ for everybody else. And then Selfless Healer, this Warlord can provide medical attention to 2 units instead of 1. Oh, jeez. I was coughing, I was laughing so much. Any unit that provided medical attention by this Warlord can be provided a second time. You can do this even if you're recovering Gene Seed from a fallen warrior. So you can heal twice. You can bring back 2 dudes instead of 1, basically. And then your relics, you can take the Acquittal, which is a bolt pistol or absolver bolt pistol. It's 16-inch range, pistol 1, strength 5, mastery 1 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon against a unit that's not a vehicle or a monster, it's damage D6. Because it's just a murder pistol. And the Healer's Aegis, friendly chapter infantry models have a 5+ invul within 1 inch of a model of this relic. So like you can hand off a 5+ invul within 1 inch. That doesn't seem very good. I just neither of these. I mean the Acquittal pistol's trolly, but like the Healer's Aegis just doesn't really. I mean, I guess you could shield a no invulnerable save other characters standing next to you. Just doesn't seem very good. The Chapter Ancient, any dude with a flag, basically, and the Ancient keyword can be given this. They add +1 to their leadership characteristic. In addition, they get Chapter Banner, friendly chapter units from benefit from this model's Astartes Banner ability within 9 instead of 6. You only use the stratagem once per battle. And you get Singular Presence, friendly chapter infantry, chapter biker, and chapter dreadnought units within 3. Can perform heroic interventions as if they were characters. And Steadfast Example, friendly chapter infantry units have the Defenders of Humanity ability within 3 inches of this Warlord. So basically all of your friendly chapter infantry units gets an objective secured within 3. And if they already have it, they count as 2 models instead of 1. Banner of the Chapter, so you get these additional relics. The Standard of Righteous Hatred, models that shoot with one of their ranged weapons or make a single attack with a melee weapon. As a result of their Astartes Banner ability, do it on a BS or a weapon skill of 2+. And then Pennant of the Fallen, models of this ability with a banner only, and they gain the following ability. Pennant of the Fallen, models that attack with one of their melee weapons, result of the model's S-Rays banner, can do 2 attacks instead of 1. So it makes your banner bearer better. I mean, it's cool, it's thematic. You can Iwo Jima things. And then Chapter Champion, this is just for company champions. It's a weird thing to, I mean, he's a hero of the chapter. He gains attacks and leadership upgrades by 1. And the Chapter Champion keyword, where you get Skillful Parry. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against this model, subtract -1 from the hit roll. And then you get Master Duelist if you're the Warlord. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model against this Warlord, on a hit roll of 1, roll a d6 on a 4+. That model's unit suffers a mortal wound after that unit's finished fighting or shooting. I don't know how it could have finished shooting if it's being hit with melee weapons. I don't know why that clause is in there. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like maybe they used to let them Jedi back like laser beams, but that shooting probably shouldn't be there. It should just be after it's finished fighting, because it's melee weapons. Yeah, and it's on a hit roll of 1. So the -1 to hit would make it a 1 or a 2, basically. Because it doesn't say on an unmodified hit roll of 1, it says on a hit roll of 1. So basically all of the 1s or 2s bounce back mortal wounds on a 4+. This is neat. And then Martial Exemplar, when a charge roll is made for a friendly chapter unit within 6 of this Warlord, you can reroll the roll, because he leads people in the charge. And then he's got a super baller sword, the Blade of Triumph. Replaces the Mastercrafted Power Sword. It's +2 strength, -4 AP, and 3 damage flat. And then the Angel Artifice he can have it increases his save to 2+ and gives him a 4+ invulnerable save. It's pretty cool. And that's it. So Master of the Chapter, it's some cool stuff. I mean, the Tech Marine one is clearly the coolest, just because people like building large parking lots and standing groups of dreadnoughts with las cannons and graviton things and beam leviathans. So now we're in the section where this is just straight up a Codex supplement. This is Codex Supplement Black Templars. It even tells you that right at the beginning. Welcome to Codex Supplement Black Templars. Here's all the background for everybody. Helbrick's in here, all of our favorites. Chaplain Grimaldus. His Cenobite servitors are just amazing. And it says right here, this is a Codex supplement. This section is a supplement to Codex Space Marines. You'll need a copy of that book to use it. War gear lists, the Angel of Death abilities, and definition of bolt weapons, litanies of battle, and more can be found in the pages of Codex Space Marines. Abilities. If your army's Battleforged, units in your army with the Combat Doctrines ability gain the Knights of Sigismund ability, so long as every unit from those are unaligned, exception of unaligned, are Black Templars. So you get the Knights of Sigismund. We've seen this on Warhammer Community already. When the Assault Doctrine's active, you get exploding 6s to hit, basically, for hit rolls. You can do 2 hits instead of 1. Sorry, not 2 hits instead of 1. Automatically wounds. You get old poison from Warhammer Fantasy Battle. The Lost Librarians. You don't get librarians. You kill them all because you didn't believe in witches. And then the Chosen Champion, the Chapter Champion stratagem, cannot be used by Black Templars units because you don't get them. You got the Emperor's Champion instead. He won the Feast of Blades. Sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes the dude with the ball bearing for an eyeball does. High Marshal Helbricht. Yeah, he's still around. I have this miniature somewhere. He's a really cool model for his time. I like his Artificer armor. I mean, he's super cool. But he's just a Space Marine Captain. 6-inch move, 2+2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, 2+ save. He's got a Commie Malta. It does what Commie Maltas do. It's not very special. The Sword of the High Marshals, +1 strength, -3 save, and D3 damage. And when the bearer fights in a turn in which it charged or made a heroic intervention, it makes D3 additional attacks because it's a big fighter. And he's an Angel of Death. He has Chapter Master, so reroll hit rolls for attacks made by all your friendly Black Templars within 6. And the Crusade of Wrath, add 1 to the strength characteristic of friendly Black Templar models within 6 of this model. So he gets it himself, which means he's strength 6 with his sword. And he's carrying an Iron Halo because he's a Spaceman Captain. The Emperor's Champion. Man, I remember when this guy was the coolest thing ever. And this Juan Diaz sculpt is held up super well. I have one somewhere. I have the original one too, who's like two-handed his sword. Like he's showing it's like Spaceballs, it's the Schwartz thing. Yeah, great miniature, fantastic miniature. This Juan Diaz one is super well held up. I think just from a sculpting point of view. He's a Space Marine Company champion. He's got 6-inch move, 2+ save, plus skill 3+, strength toughness 4, 4 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, 2+ save. The Black Sword, his super cool melee sword is strength 6, +2 strength, -3 save, D3 damage. And if you're attacking a character or a monster, you can reroll the wound roll because you don't like him and you're a monster hunter. He's an Angel of Death. He's got Sigismund's Honor, +1 strength if you're attacking a character. Sorry, +1 strength that attacks if you're fighting within 1 ship of an enemy character. Skillful Parry, when resolving an attack made with the melee weapons against this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Slayer of Champions, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this model against an enemy character, you can reroll the hit roll. So he rerolls hits and wounds basically against characters and gets +1 strength and attack. So he's strength 7 with 6 attacks, rerolling hits, rerolling wounds, mastery save D3 damage. And then Armor of Faith, 4+ invul. Chaplain Grimaldus, he is my favorite character in Arendevsky Bowden's Hellreach. It's just awesome. He's just a big thoughtless golem. He's a great example of what a Space Marine is as far as just being like a brainwash killing machine. He's got a plasma pistol. He's got an Artificer Crozius, which is a Crozius that's basically 2 damage. He's a spiritual leader. Friendly Black Templar units can use this model's leadership within 6. He's a devout Puritan. He can deny the witch. He's got unmatched zeal when resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by a friendly Black Templars model within 6. Or an unmodified hit roll of 6 gives you additional attack that doesn't generate more attacks. So on the charge, you'll auto wound on 6s and also gain additional attack if you're next to this guy. And he's got a Rosarius for a 4+ invul. He knows Litany of Hate and 2 litanies from Litanies of Battle, or 2 litanies from Litanies of Devolt, which is later on their own litanies. At the start of the battle round, this model can recite 2 litanies if it knows that have not already been recited by friendly models that battle round. Roll a d6 on a 3+6 effect. Litany of Hate, of course, reroll hits. And then Cenobite Servitors. These guys are amazing. You're going to want to keep them alive as long as you can. Maybe park a dude next to him because you got the Relic of Hell's Reach. They are mind wiped. Basically, Grimaldus has to be nearby to make their stats not garbage. They're normally movement 5, 5+5+, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, 6 leadership, and 4+ save. All they have is a close combat weapon. Then you only get 3 of them, you can never have any more. They don't take up a detachment slot as long as you have Grimaldus in your army, but they have the Relics of Hell's Reach. When a model of a friendly Black Templars unit within 6 inches of this unit would lose would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll d6 and a 4+, the wound's not lost. This is not cumulative with any other rules allowing you to not lose wounds. So you get a 4+ wound chart against mortal wounds within 6 inches of this guy, which is pretty cool if you've got some psychers you're facing down throwing mortal wounds at you. And then you got your Crusader squad, which is your super cool mixed up Scouts and Space Marine squad that the Black Templars get access to, with Initiates, Neophytes, and Sword Brothers. Now, I've noticed there is no Sword Brother unit in here. So those company veterans are just company veterans now. They're not, the special dudes aren't there, basically. This unit contains a Sword Brother and 4 Initiates. You can additionally contain up to 5 Initiates. It can additionally contain up to 5 Initiates or 10 Neophytes. Every model is equipped with a bolt pistol, bolt gun, frag and crack grenades. And it's just Space Marine Scouts and Space Marines. 2 attacks on the Sword Brother with leadership 8. Starry shotguns. It can be equipped with a chainsword instead of a bolt gun. It's the same as the Crusader squad's always been, basically. If this unit contains fewer than 10 models, an initiate can be equipped with one of the following: a bolt gun, a power axe, a power fist, a power maul, a power sword, a weapon from the heavy weapon list, or a weapon from the special heavy list. If it contains 10 or more models, it could be equipped with 1 from the special weapons, 1 from the heavy weapons, or a power axe, power fist, power ball, power sword. And the Sword Brother can be equipped with 2 weapons from the Sergeant weapon list. And then you get Paired Combatants. While this unit contains at least as many Initiates as Neophytes, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a Neophyte, reroll hit rolls of 1. So the Neophytes themselves get inspired, which I think is kind of cool, by being around the Initiates. And then you get your Litanies of the Devout. These are your specialty prayers that you get because you're a Black Templar and you're very, very into the Emperor. The Litany of Divine Protection. It's just a 5+ wind shrug within 6 if it goes off. That's great. Again, there's lots of chaplains. Real good. Psalm of Remorseless Persecution. If his litany is inspiring, when we attack with a melee weapon with a friendly Black Templars unit within 6, reroll wound rolls of 1. So you can become a lieutenant, basically. And you just buy a lieutenant. I don't know why you'd use that one. The Vow of Retribution. If his litany is inspiring, subtract 2 from the leadership characteristic of models and enemy units within 6. The Fires of Devotion. If his litany is inspiring, select a friendly Black Templar unit within 6. If it makes a charge move, heroic intervention, add 1 to its attacks. And then Fervent Acclamation. If his litany is inspiring, add 3 to the range of friendly Black Templar units or abilities that are within 6 of this model. So you can make your Chapter Master's ability 9 inches. It's kind of cool. And the Oath of Glory. If this litany is inspiring, select a friendly Black Templar unit within 6 inches of this model. That unit always fights first in the fight phase, even if it didn't charge. And then you go back and forth, alternate choosing if you've both got that ability. I mean, it's the litany of Divine Protection. It just wins. The Aura one maybe, but like, I don't know why you wouldn't do this one. If you take Grimaldus and can do 2, then +3 auras and also that. Because that would actually stack. Because then you'd have a 9-inch. If you did Divine Protection and Fervent Acclamation, because it affects himself, he'd have a 9-inch Wound Shrug ability, basically. And he rerolls the 3+. So 3+ reroll, trying to get off a 9+, a 9-inch bubble that affects every Black Templar unit. So all your vehicles, everything gets a 5+ Wound Shrug all of a sudden. They're the Death Guard of Black Templars. Warlord traits. We got some Oathkeeper. This warlord can perform a heroic intervention within 6 and piles up to 6 instead of 3. Epitome of Piety. You can resist Psych Power, so you can deny the Witch. And you can add 1 to the total. Paragon of Fury. If you finish a charge move within 1 inch of this warlord, for each enemy unit within 1 inch of the warlord, roll a d6 on a 2+ take a mortal wound. So you become like a bulldozer and you do mortal wounds when you charge. The Master of Arms. This warlord always fights first in the fight phase. Inspirational Fighter. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a friendly Black Templar unit within 6 of the warlord, and a modified wound roll of 6 improves your AP by 1. And then Frontline Commander. When a friendly Black Templar unit within 6 makes a charge or advance, add 1 to the roll. Halbrecht has Frontline Commander. Grimaldus has Epitome of Piety, so you can deny the Witch. Yeah, Grimaldus is the one you're going to take all the time. And then the Emperor's Champion has Oathkeeper, because why not? Although I don't know why you would ever make him be your leader. Because you would take, I think you'd still just take, you'd make the Warlord the Tech Marine. Take the Tech Marine Warlord, give him the cool stuff, have Grimaldus do all the other things. Your stratagem, you can Abhor the Witch for 1 CP. Use stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase. When an enemy psychic model manifests a psychic power within 24, after deny the Witch test has been made, roll d6 on a 4+, it's resisted. So you just have a 4+, the Black Templars just cancel psychic powers on a 4+ for a CP. I mean, you use it once per phase, basically, but that's just hilarious. 1 CP for Crusader Relics, unlocks more stuff. One Sergeant or Sword Brother in the profile can take Witch Seeker Bolt, Sword of the Judgment, Skull of Cacodominus. All these relics in your army included must be different and must be given different models. So you give an additional relic out, basically. 1 CB for Devout Push. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 Black Templar's infantry unit or 1 Black Templar's biker unit from your army. So at the end of that phase, that unit can pile in, and when it consolidates, it can move up to 6 instead of 3. 2 ZBs for Tenacious Assault. Use a stratagem in the movement phase. When an enemy infantry unit that does not have the flyer battlefield roll is within 1 inch of any Black Templar's infantry unit from your army, and has chosen to fall back. Roll d6 on a 2+. They cannot fall back. You just stick them to you. Fight me. Fight me, coward. 1 CP for the Emperor's Will. Use a stratagem in your movement phase. When a Black Templar infantry unit from your army advances, until the end of the turn, models from that unit can still shoot with their pistol weapons and still charge. Oaths of Honor for 1 CP. Use stratagem in the fight phase. Select 1 Black Templar scout unit from your army that made a charge move or was charged this turn. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack with a melee weapon by a model in that unit, you reroll the wound roll. 1 CP for Vicious Riposte. Use it in the fight phase. When a Black Templar's infantry unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack, until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with, against that unit, a modified save roll of 6, the attacking unit suffers a mortal wound. So your 6s to save cause mortal wounds. It's pretty cool. And then 1 CP for Shock and Awe. Use a stratagem in your charge phase. Select 1 Black Templar's infantry unit from your army that disembarked from a Land Raider Crusader this turn. Until the end of that turn, enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at the selected unit, and when resolving an attack made against them, subtract -1 to hit. So yeah, it's basically your old frag launchers from the Crusader, which I think is cool. And you got some sweet relics. You get the Crusader's Helm. Add 3 inches to the range of this model with this relic's aura abilities to a maximum of 12. In addition, at the start of your movement phase, select 1 friendly Black Templar unit that has a Combat Doctrine's ability and is within 6 inches of this model. Until the end of that next movement phase, the Assault Doctrine becomes active for that unit, replacing the currently active one. So you can just push the Assault Doctrine right to the beginning, turn 1. Pretty cool. Witch Seeker bolts, select one bolt weapon this model has. When the bearer shoots with the weapon, you can choose to fire it or fire Witch Seeker round. If you do so, it can only make one attack. But that attack can target a psychic character even if it's not closest. When resolving the attack, if it hits scored, it takes D3 mortal wounds, in addition to any other damage. The Aurelian Shroud. Once per battle at the start of the battle round, a model with this relic can unveil the Aurelian Shroud. Until the end of that battle round, friendly models and Black Templar units have a 4+ invul save within 3 of a model with this relic. Ancient Breviary. Chaplain only. When a roll is made to determine if a litany is recited, you can roll 2d6 and discard one of the results. Skull of Cacodominus. Once per battle, after a psychic power has been manifested by an enemy psychic within 12, roll a d6 on a 2+. A model suffers D3 mortal wounds after the psychic power has been resolved. So you basically blow the gap with a skull. And the Sword of Judgment. Model with Power Sword or Mastercrafted Power Sword only. This relic replaces the Power Sword. It's +1 strength, -3 save, 3 damage flat. Grimaldus is only 90 points. Oh, he's good. Halbrecht is 150, Champions 75. Crusader squads are 5 to 20 with 13 for basic dudes and 11 for neophytes. And the Cenobite servitors are 2 points each. So 6 points for that 3-man unit, including their war gear. It's hilarious. And a name generator, shoot, I forgot dice. I'm going to be Otto Torismond or Niedrich Jorgast. Great names. And we got our tactical objectives, which of course, I don't know if anyone uses anymore. And we're into the Heretic Astartes. All right, so getting into this, we have basically a bunch of more Codex supplements. Now, if you were expecting that we're going to do Chaos Space Marine Codex supplements the way they did the Space Marine ones, they might still, but this is basically everything that you would expect they would be. So with the Renegades and the Black Legion being covered in Vigilus, this basically, first 2 pages updates the Chaos Space Marine Codex to have the Bolter Drill and the +1 attack on the charge, the old 3rd edition 40k. It also gives you Daemon weapons. And updates your Demolisher cannon. So just updates your Codex, and then some generic new Demon weapons, which give you some bonuses there. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Codex supplements on top of that. And they're basically the meat and potatoes of a Codex supplement. You just don't have the fluff, the color section, or any special characters. But yeah, I mean, if you didn't have your own Codex at this point, and then the Chaos Space Marine Legions, like the Nurgle, and the Death Guard, and Thousand Suns, this is lifting you up and giving you a little extra something. So, Malicious Volleys, it's Bolter Drill. Hateful Assault, it's the same as whatever it's, I can't remember what the Space Marine one's called. +1 attack on the charge. And then Demon Weapons. The selection of relics presented in the following pages represent a collection of demon weapons. These are additional artifacts of chaos available to Chaos Space Marines. If your army is led by a Chaos Space Marine Lore Lord, 1 character in the army can be given one of these. They're pretty cool. They're the old school chaos weapons. And then finally, you've got your updated Demolisher Cannon. Heavy D6, strength 10, -3, D6 damage. So these are neat. They all have the following ability, Demon Weapon. In the fight phase, when this model is chosen to fight for the first time that phase, roll a D6. On a 1, you take a mortal wound. On a 2+, fight is normal. And they've all got a cool name. This is some Realms of Chaos stuff here. So Quack the Bandless, it's a Power Sword, Hellforce Sword, or Force Sword. You become a Strength user, -3 save, D3 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, invulnerable saves cannot be made. So a no invul sword. It's pretty cool. Tharis and Riol, the Rapacious Talons. Slanesh model with Lightning Claws, or 2 sets of Malefic Talons only. You gain user strength, -2 save, D damage 2. And when resolving attack made with this weapon, you can reroll the wound roll. When rolling with this weapon's demon weapon ability, at 2+, you can make a number of additional attacks equal to the result of that with this weapon that phase. So on a 1, you take a mortal wound. On a 2+, you get that many extra attacks with these. And the Malefic Talons, I'm pretty sure, are on Demon Princes. So that's a pretty cool additional bunch of attacks on Demon Princes. I don't know if you ever take it, but Zal the Wrathful. Core model with Power Sword or Hellforce Sword only. The relic replaces the Power Sword or Hellforce Sword with the following profile. Strength user, -5 AP and damage 2. When rolling for its demon weapon ability, Add the attacks. Oh, sorry, add the strength characteristic until the end of the phase. So you're a strength user, but you could be +2 to 6 strength and just be strength bananas at some point. So with a decent roll and a CP reroll, you could just walk up and start mercilessly butchering knights. Golax, the Fist of Decay. Nurgle model of the Power Fist only. This relic replaces the Power Fist. It's ×2 strength, -3 AP, and 3 damage flat. -1 hit. An unmodified roll of 2+ is always successful. That's crazy. You always win on a 2+. Then why do you have a strength characteristic? Bizarre. Oka, the Black Axe. Model of the Power Axe, Force Axe, or Demon Axe only. Strength user, AP 0, 1 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, an unmodified wound roll of 4+ inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. So that's why it doesn't have a very good hit you stat line, is it's just 4+ mortal wounds when you resolve your damage. Ugh. So we're at Word Bearers. So now these were the big like bad in this book. No Corferon showing up though, but they talk about them a whole bunch. So you get your Warlord traits. If Word Bearer's character is your leader, you get that. You get your strats. If you're all Word Bearers, you get your artifact of power, tactical objectives, and a name generator. So Word Bearer's Warlord traits. The Voice of Lorgar, 3-inch range to your order abilities. That's cool. Number 2, Exalted Possession. You gain the Possessed and Demon abilities, keywords. And add 1 to the strength and attack characteristic of this Warlord, and add 1 inch to their move. Demonic Whispers. If your army is battle-forged, roll 1d3 before the battle begins and gain command points equal to the result. Once per battle, you can roll a single hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, or saving throw. Master of the Union. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of models in friendly Word Bearer's demon units within 6. The Diabolist. When this Warlord would lose a wound, on a roll 1d6, adding 3 if that wound would be lost as a result of a mortal wound, not a 6+ not lost. So you have a 3+ mortal wound shrug and a 6+ wound shrug. And then Sacrilegious Regeneration. Add 1 to this Warlord's wound characteristic at the start of your turn. This Warlord regains D3 lost wounds. You just get your wounds back. Stratagems, 1 CP for Dark Pact. Use stratagem at the end of your movement phase when a Warlord, when a Word Bearer's character model from your army attempts to summon a unit of demons. When making the summoning roll for the character, you can reroll the dice, and this character model will not suffer any mortal wounds for rolling doubles or triples. He just don't care. 1 CP for Malevolent Covenant. Use stratagem in your psychic phase after a Word Bearer's psyker for unit from your army fails a psych test. Unit power is automatically manifested by that psyker at the minimum required warp charge without a double having been rolled and cannot be resisted by a Deny the Witch attempt. After resolving the effect, take a mortal wound. So I failed, and then I passed, and then I take a mortal wound. 1 CP for Apostle of the Dark Council. Use a stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Word Bearer's priest ability. Model from your army. They gain the following ability, Dark Council. This model knows an additional prayer and can chant 1 additional prayer at the start of the round. But you can only do it once. 2 CPs for Cursed Despoilers. Use stratagem after deployment, but before the first battle round. If Word Bearer's unit from your army is on the battlefield, select 1 terrain feature other than a fortification. Units entirely on or within it do not gain cover. 1 CP for the Revered Hosts. Used in the fight phase, when a Word Bearer's possessed unit or Word Bearer's greater possessed unit from your army is chosen to fight, until the end of the phase, add 1 of the damage characteristics of its melee weapons. 1 CP for a Hexagrammic Ward. Use stratagem in any phase after making a saving throw for Word Bearer's character model. Treat the result of the saving throw as a 6. Each Word Bearer's character model in your army can be only targeted by this stratagem once per battle. Vengeance of the Monarchia. Use stratagem in the fight phase. When a Word Bearer's unit from your army is chosen to fight with, until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit against an Ultramarines unit, you can reroll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. Because we don't like the Ultramarines. Because they stopped us from having a fun Warpstorm party back in the Horus Heresy. No, bigger Warpstorm party. Crown of Blasphemers. We're under the artifacts now. Improve the invulnerable save of this model by 1 to a maximum of 3+. Subtract 1 from leadership characteristics of enemy models within 6. The Baleful Icon. When a charge roll is made for a charge declared against a friendly Word Bearer unit within 6, subtract 2 from the result. Book of the Reviler. Model that's not a demon. Before the battle, a model of this relic can read from the Book of the Reviler. If it does so, randomly generate 2 Chaos Boons. Found in the Chaos Boon stratagem. Rerolling Spawndom and Demonhood, and duplicate results. Note that doing so does not cost any command points, and an enemy character, vehicle, or monster model does not have to have been destroyed. The Malefic Tome. Psychic models only. Model of this relic knows 1 additional psychic power. When a psychic test is taken from this model, add 1 to the total. The Ashen Axe. Model with a chain axe. +1 strength, -2 save, D3 damage. Enemy units within 1 inch of a model with this relic cannot fall back unless they have the vehicle or Titanic keyword or have a minimum move characteristic, like airplanes. Epistle of Lorgar. Priest models only. When a model with this relic chants a prayer, you can reroll the dice to determine if the prayer is heard. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic of friendly word bearers within 6. Tactical objectives, and the My Name game is Ban Dranulan, or Virak Marin, or Dashel Kura, or Barthuza Gallic. I wonder how long the design team sat around coming up with 40k-ish names, because there's so many in these books. I want to find out if they reused any. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. Night Lords, my favorite cast-based Marine Legion, because they get the joke. They're the comedian from Watchmen. So, their warlord traits, once per battle round, you can reroll a single hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, advance roll, charge roll, or saving throw made for this warlord, because they've got the Night Hunter's Curse. They can see the future. 1 piece at a time, this warlord can charge in a turn in which they fell back. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against this warlord, subtract 1 from hits. Murderous Reputation. When resolving an attack made by this warlord, an unmodified hit roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. He's just that murdery. I just love killing, Morty. That's what I love. Killing Fury, add D3 the attack characteristic of this warlord in a turn in which they made a charge move, were charged, or performed a heroic intervention. These additional attacks last until the end of the fight phase. And then 1 with the Shadows. When resolving an attack made against this warlord, while they're entirely on or within a terrain feature, add 1 to the saving throw, excluding invulnerable saving throws. Whilst this warlord is entirely in or on a terrain feature, its invulnerable save is improved by 1 to a maximum of 3+. And then Dirty Fighter. While there are more friendly models than 3 of this warlord than enemy models, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, add 1 to the wound roll. Basically, you dogpile them because your friends all put the boots in. Night Lord's Stratagems in Midnight Clad. There's everybody one that says Prey Sight. There's not one that says Prey Sight. It's a wasted opportunity. In Midnight Clad, use a stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when Night Lord's infantry unit from your army is targeted by a shooting attack. Till the end of that phase, when resolving an attack against that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Number 2 for Vox Scream. Use a stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select 1 enemy unit with an 18 of any Night Lord's units in your army. Until the start of your next movement phase, enemy units cannot be affected by any of the selected units or abilities. That's pretty cool. So you just break somebody's rerolls. 1 CP for Prey on the Weak. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase when a Night Lord's unit from your army is chosen to shoot or fight. Till the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in a unit that has a lower leadership characteristic, the attacking model gain +1 to hit. That's awesome. Prey on the Weak. That's great. 1 CP hit and run. Use a stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Select 1 Night Lord's unit in your army. They can charge even if they fell back. 1 CP for We Have Come For You. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's movement phase. Select a Night Lord's unit that's not a vehicle. Till the start of your next turn, enemy units within 1 inch of that unit cannot fall back unless they have vehicle or Titanic or minimum move. 1 CP for From the Night. Use a stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Select a Night Lord's infantry unit. It's wholly on or within a terrain feature. Till the end of the turn, when a charge roll is made for that unit, add 2 to the result. And when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit, add 1 to the hit roll. Raptor Strike. Pick this stratagem in the charge phase before making a charge roll for a Night Lord's jump pack unit from your army that was set up as reinforcements. Roll 3d6 instead of 2d6. That's pretty cool. And then Flay Them Alive. 1 CP for use in the fight phase. When an enemy unit is destroyed as a result of an attack made with a Night Lord's model from your army. Until the end of your turn, when a morale test is taken for an enemy within 12 of that Night Lord's unit, you can choose to roll an additional d6 and choose which one's discarded. Because you make an example out of them. You just start making ear necklaces and finger bone like, I don't know, belt buckles or whatever. You get your Flare for Power Sword replacement, and it's +1 strength, -3 save, 2 damage. Each model destroyed by this attack with this weapon is 2 for morale tests. That's pretty awesome, actually. Stormbolt Plate, infantry model only. Model of this relic has a save of 2+. In addition, they always count as being in cover, while it's not, even if it's not entirely on or within a terrain feature. So you have a 1+ save. Interesting. Infantry only, 2+ save, and you're always in cover. So you basically ignore -1 saves, because ones always fail. That's interesting. Vox Demonicus, infantry model only. While this unit, enemy units within 6 of this model reduce the range of that unit's or abilities to 1. In addition, enemy units that are set up in the battlefield as reinforcements cannot come within 12 of the relic. Talons of the Nightfare, models that can fly only. It's +1 strength, -1 AP, 1 damage. When a model with this relic fights, it makes D3 additional attacks with this weapon, or D6 additional attacks if it charged or made a heroic intervention. Scourgeon Chains, improve the arm penetration characteristic of melee weapons. A model with this relic is equipped by 1. Subtract 1 from the attack characteristic of enemy models within while they're within 1 inch of this model. Misery of the Meek. Once per battle, starting your movement phase, a model with this relic can drink from the Misery of the Meek. It's like a cup full of tears. That model immediately regains up to D6 lost wounds until starting your next turn, add D3 to its attacks. And then my Night Lord's special names are Vastiani Viricor, or Resk Tarask, or Saveth Cade. That's actually not a bad one. Jago Cavatar. The Alpha Legion, the spookiest of boys. So your warlord traits, of course the first one's I Am Alfarius. In addition to this warlord trait, this warlord can have a randomly generated Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine warlord trait from Codex Chaos Space Marines. If this warlord is destroyed, you can immediately select another Alpha Legion character model in your army to gain a warlord trait. If this mission you're playing grants VPs for destroying the warlord, your opponent will only achieve it if they kill that character too. Sorry, if all the Alpha Legion character models in your army have been destroyed. So you can't get Slay the Warlord unless you kill all the characters in the army. That's hilarious. Clandestine, -1 hit him. Headhunter, this warlord can target a character unit, even if they're not the closest. Resolving attack with a ranged weapon by this warlord, an unmodified hit roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. Master of Diversion, start of your first battle round before the first turn begins. Select up to 3 other Alpha Legion units in the battlefield. Remove them from the battlefield and set them up again, following the normal deployment rules. If you redeploy a transport model, all the units inside remain so when it's set up. Cult Leader, resolving attack made with a weapon by a model in a friendly Alpha Legion Chaos Cultist unit within 6 inches. On an unmodified wound roll of 6, the armor penetration is improved by 1. And then Faceless Commander, once per battle, the entry movement phase, you can remove the warlord from the battlefield and set him up again within 3 inches of a friendly Alpha Legion infantry unit, and more than 9 from the enemy model, so he just disappears and comes back. Stratagems, forward operatives for 1 CP. Use stratagem during deployment when you set up an Alpha Legion infantry unit for your army at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins. You can move them up to 9 inches. And has to stay away from enemy models, but not within 9, basically. If both players have this unit that can move in the first turn, players taking the first turn moves theirs first. Each unit can only be selected by the stratagem once per battle. 2 CPs for Conceal. Use at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select an Alpha Legion infantry unit from your army until the end of that phase. Any models can only target that unit unless it's the closest. If it's the closest. 1 CP for Sabotaged Armory. Use a stratagem in any phase before your opponent rolls to see if a vehicle model from the army explodes. Add 3 to the D6 and the roll cannot be rerolled. You make something go big, bada boom. 1 CP for Scrambled Coordinates. Use a stratagem in your opponent's movement phase when an enemy unit is set up in the battlefield as reinforcements, but before it is placed in the battlefield. It has to be more than 12 instead of more than 9. 1 CP for Renascent Infiltration. Use stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select an Alpha Legion infantry unit from your army that's more than 3 inches away from the enemy. And you cannot select any unit that arrived as reinforcements this turn. Remove that unit from the battlefield. The next movement phase, set them up anywhere more than 9 from the enemy. Any models that cannot be set up in this way are destroyed. The battle round ends. That unit set up. Sorry, if the battle round ends before that unit set up, it is destroyed. 2 CPs for Ambush. Use stratagem in your opponent's movement phase. After an enemy unit is set up on the battlefield as reinforcements, select an Alpha Legion unit from your army within 18 of that unit to shoot at that unit as if it was a shooting phase. 1 CP for Feigned Retreat. Use stratagem in your movement phase when you fall back from an Alpha Legion unit. When you fall back with an Alpha Legion unit from your army, they can still shoot. And 1 CP for We're Alfarius. Use stratagem before the battle after nominating your warlord. Select an Alpha Legion character model from your army that is not your warlord and determine 1 warlord trait for it. It's regarded as your warlord for the purpose of that warlord trait. Each warlord trait in your army must be unique. Use it once per battle. Artifacts, the Drake Scale Plate. Infantry only, 2+ save. When a model would take a wound as a result of a mortal wound, on a 5+, it's not At the start of your movement phase, if a model with this relic is on the battlefield, roll 3d6. Until the end of that phase, that model's move characteristic is equal to the result. In the movement phase, a model with this relic can move across other models and terrain as if it was not there. In the charge phase, a model with this relic can move across other models other than buildings if they were not there. A model with this relic can charge in a turn in which they fell back. That's so cool. You're basically the Predator. Hydra's Whale, once per battle at the start of the battle round, if a model with this relic's in the battlefield, it can activate the Hydra's Whale. Till the end of the battle round, when your opponent spends a command point, use a stratagem, roll a d6 and a 4+, you must spend an extra CP to use that stratagem. The Viper's Bite, Combi Bolter, becomes Rapid Fire 2, Strength 5, -3, 2 damage. That's a baller Combi Bolter. The Hydra's Teeth, model the bolt weapon only. The bolt weapon with the model of this relic is granted the following abilities. Attacks made with this weapon automatically hit. The weapon wins 2+ regardless, unless targeting a vehicle or Titanic unit, and in which case it wins on a 6. Units do not receive cover for their saving throws against attacks made with this weapon. The Shade Blade, model with the Power Sword or Force weapon, plus on strength -3, save d3 damage. When resolving an attack made against the bearer, subtract 1 from the hit roll. And then my Alpha Legion name is Alfarius, 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 Alfarius. Why is it not just Alfarius D66 times? It's such a missed opportunity. Dynan Paritas, Oron X632. It should just be Alfarius, 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 Alfarius. This is wrong. This page needs to get torn out. Iron Warriors, the No Fun Brigade. Their warlord traits. Cold and Bitter. When a morale test is taken for a friendly Iron Warriors unit within 6 of this warlord, do not roll a die. It's passed. He just looks around and says, no fun. No fun today. No fun, no run. Demon Smith, when resolving an attack made by a model in a friendly Iron Warriors Demon Engine or Iron Warriors Cult of Destruction unit within 6 inches, and a modifier of 6 gives an additional hit. So 6 explode, basically. Double hits for your, I guess, your Obliterators and your Demon Engines. Iron with it, it's a 5+ wound shrug. Bastion, resolving attack made with a weapon that has an armor penetration characteristic of -1 against a friendly Iron Warriors unit within 6, and receiving the benefit of cover. It's AP 0, because you're just so good at building sandbags. Siege Master, when resolving attack made with a ranged weapon, by a model of a friendly Havoc Iron Hand vehicle unit within 6, reroll wound rolls of 1. So it's 1's to wound for Havocs and vehicles. And then Stoic Advance, friendly Iron Warriors units do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons within 6. You just Iron Hands light your worst Iron Hands. Stratagems, 1 CP for Iron Within, Iron Without, 6+ wound shrug until the end of the phase. 1 CP for Methodical Annihilation. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when an Iron Warriors unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Select one of the following effects. When resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, reroll the damage roll, or you can reroll any or all of the dice to determine the type characteristic of weapons that models in the unit are equipped with. Yeah, I guess it's good for... Yeah, I mean, I guess Obliterators, it's like an Obliterator thing. Dour Duty for 1 CP. Use stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase or your charge phase. When an Iron Warriors unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack, until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against that unit, worsen the AP by 1. 1 CP for Unholy Vigor. Use the stratagem at the start of your movement phase. Select 1 Iron Warriors vehicle unit from your army. That model regains 3 lost wounds. It just comes back. It's like Christine. It should only work on 57 Chevys. Was it 57 Chevy and Christine? No, I'm probably misremembering. 1 CP for Tank Hunters. Use stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase when you choose an Iron Warriors unit from your army that's not cultists to shoot or fight. Select an enemy vehicle unit until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made by a model in that Iron Hands unit against the selected unit, you can reroll the wound roll. 1 CP for Rampant Technovirus. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase when you select an Iron Warriors Obliterator or Iron Warriors Mutilator unit from your army to shoot or fight with. Until the end of that phase, you can reroll any or all of the D3 rolls made for that unit's flesh metal guns or flesh metal weapons. Cool. 2 CPs for cannon fodder. Use stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select 1 Iron Warriors infantry unit from your army. Then select 1 friendly Iron Warriors Chaos Cultist unit, wholly within 6 of that unit. Till the end of that phase, enemy models cannot target the Iron Warriors infantry unit if the Iron Warriors Cultists are visible. They just push the humans ahead. It's Operation Chaos Cultist Shield. And then 1 CP for Bitter Enmity. It's pick an Iron Warriors unit to fight in the fight phase. If it targets the Imperial Fist unit, you can reroll the hit rolls and reroll the wound rolls. And then your artifacts, the Siegebreaker Mace. It replaces a Power Maul or a Cursed Crozius. You can swing or you can smash. If you swing, it's +2 strength, -2 save, 2 damage. If you smash, it's ×2, -3d6 damage. When the bearer fights using smash, it makes 2 attacks. When resolving an attack made with the smash profile, roll 2d6 when inflicting damage and discard one of the results. So it becomes like 2 attacks at Melta, basically. The Cranium Malevolus. You got an evil skull. I don't know. In your shooting phase, model this relic can use the Cranium Malevolus instead of shooting. Roll 1d6 for each enemy vehicle unit within 9 of that model. On a 4+, they D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they suffer 3 mortal wounds. The Insidium. Model this relic gains the Demon keyword. Add 1 of their strength, toughness, and wounds. Axe of the Forge Master. Model with the power axe of Demon Axe only. It's +3 strength, -3 save, 2 damage. And abilities, resolving attack made with this weapon against a vehicle unit. A modified hit roll of 5+, does D3 mortal wounds in addition to any normal damage. The Spite Spitter. Model the Kind Bolter only. This relic replaces a Kind Bolter and has the following profile. Rapid Fire 2, strength 5, -3 D3 damage. And then the Techno Venomous Mechadendrils. Warpsmith only. Your Mechadendrils gain the following profile. Just strength user, AP 0, 1 damage. When this bear fights, it makes 4 additional attacks, and only those 4 attacks can be made with this weapon. Resolving an attack made with this weapon, if a hit scored, target suffers a mortal wound. That's it. It just does mortal wounds now. And your awesome Iron Warriors name generator. I feel like that by the last one. Come on, do something better. It's going to be Dorgus Caraxiani. Noros the Warp Cutter. Osis the Shatterer. Hamma. Wasn't Hamma the character from Iron Warriors? The one that had the one that was an Imperial Fist, like betrayed the Fists and joined the Iron Warriors. Hamma of the Foundry. The Emperor's Children, the fanciest of Chaos Space Marines. All right, what's up with them? Warlord traits. Stimulated by pain. Add 1 to your attack characteristic for each wound they've suffered. If you regain your wounds, you lose the attacks. Intoxicating Musk. This is the thing for Anchorman. Sex Panther. When resolving an attack made by an enemy unit within 3 inches, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That makes sense. 60% of the time, works all the time. Unbound Arrogance. When you choose a warlord to fight with, you and your opponent can secretly choose a number from 1 to 3 on a d6. We suggest secretly turning a d6 to show the number and concealing it behind your hand. They broke the 4th wall there. I like it's we suggest. If the chosen number differ, this warlord can make an additional number of attacks that fight sequence equal to the number you chose. Faultless Duelist. At the start of the fight phase, roll a d3. Till the end of that phase, subtract the result from the attack characteristic of enemy models while they're within 1 of this warlord. Glutton for Punishment. Resolving an attack against this warlord, reduce the damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1. And Loathsome Grace. When you charge roll is made for this warlord, you can roll the die. If this warlord makes a charge move or performs a heroic intervention, add 1 of their strength and attack characteristic until the end of the fight phase. Your super sweet stratagems, you've got Combat Elixirs. It's for 2 CPs. Use stratagem before the battle. Select an Emperor's Children unit from your army that's not a vehicle or a cultist. And then select 1 of the following effects. +1 attack, +2 on strength, +2 move, or +1 toughness. +1 toughness can be pretty good. You just juice up a bunch of like... Oh, what you make really tough? Toughness 5, toughness 6 obliterators. That's pretty cool. There's a bunch of things you can make toughness 5 pretty cool too. Possessed, toughness 5 possessed. It's a neat idea, but you gotta go big. 1 CP for excess of violence. Use stratagem in the fight phase. When you choose an Emperor's Children infantry unit from your army to fight, until the end of that phase, if an attack made by a model in that unit destroys an enemy model, the attack model can make an additional attack with the same unit using the same weapon. It's only infantry though. 1 CB for Incessant Disdain. Use stratagem in the end of your opponent's charge phase. Select one Emperor's Children character model from your army. That model can perform a heroic intervention if it's within 6 and can move up to 6 when doing so. As long as it finishes within 1 inch of an enemy character model or the nearest enemy model. 1 CB, Honor the Prince, and use a stratagem in your charge phase after making a charge roll for an Emperor's Children Slanesh unit in your army. You can change the result of one of the d6 rolled to 6. That's cool for deep striking. 1 CB for Excruciating Frequencies. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when an Emperor's Children Noise Marine unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of the phase, add one of the strength and damage characteristic of Blastmasters, Sonic Blasters, and Doom Sirens. Whoa, that's really good. Yeah, big fat unit of Noise Marines with all +1 strength and damage. Woof. Woof. 1 CB for Cruel Duelists. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when an Emperor's Children unit from your army that's not a vehicle or chaos cultist is chosen to fight. To the end of that phase, when resolving an attack with a melee weapon, buy a model in that unit, unmodified win roll of 6, has an AP of -3. It's real good at stabbing. And then 1 CB for Tactical Perfection. Use stratagem at the start of your first battle round before the first turn begins. Select one Emperor's Children unit from your army, remove them from the battlefield, and set it up again, following the usual deployment. The Endless Grin for your artifacts. When a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 6 of the model with this relic, your opponent must roll an additional d6, and you choose the one to be discarded. Subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of models in enemy units within 6 of this relic. The Fatal Sonancy. Sonancy? No. Fatal Sonancy is 12-inch range assault, d6, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. It auto hits. No cover. It's like a sonic flamer. Armor of Abhorrence. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at a model with this relic. If an enemy unit fails a morale test within 6 of a model with this relic, one additional model flees from that unit. The Remnants of Meraviglia. Priest models only. Once per battle, instead of chanting a prayer, a model with this relic can broadcast the Remnant of Meraviglia. Till the end of that battle round, when resolving an attack made by a model in a friendly Emperor's Children unit within 6, you can reroll the wound roll. Distortion. Replace the Power Sword or Force Sword. Strength user -4 save and d3 damage. At the start of the fight phase, the bearer can look upon their reflection. Till the end of that phase, the weapon has a strength characteristic of ×2, and resolving an attack made by this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So you can turn it into a power fist, basically. The Raiment Revulsive. When resolving an attack made by a model with this relic, you can reroll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. When a charge roll is made for a model with this relic, you reroll the result. Interesting. That's just good. It's any attack. When resolving an attack made by a model with this relic, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. When a charge roll is made for a model with this relic, you can reroll the result. It's just flat rerolls forever. That is like the best relic in the game. Just reroll everything all the time, however you want. Sweet. What's my Emperor's Children name? Some Ponzi, Julianus Demetrius, Amased Fortilian, Clavius Thorn. Yeah, it's appropriately Ponzi. And the World Eaters, an awesome bolt thrower song. Slaughterborn. When an enemy character, monster, or Titanic model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by this warlord, add one of their attacks and strengths. It's no cap. Just kill a character, monster, or Titanic model, get an extra attack and strength. You hulk up. The Arch Slaughterer. At the start of the fight phase, add d3 to this warlord's attack characteristic. If there's more enemy models than 3 than friendly models, these extra attacks last until the end of the fight phase. Disciple of Khorne. When resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by this warlord against an enemy character unit or a unit that contains any models with a wound characteristic of 5 or more, reroll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. So basically going up against big things, you reroll everything. Violent Urgency. When an advance or charge roll is made for a friendly world leader's unit within 6 inches of this warlord, add 1 to the result. True Berserker. His love for you is like a truck. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against this model, halve the damage, rounding up. And then Battle Lust. This warlord can perform a heroic intervention if there's any enemy units within 6 instead of 3, can move 6 instead of 3. This warlord always fights first in the fight phase, even if they didn't charge. Stratagems. 1 CB for the Scorn of Sorcery. We care not for your witchy ways. Use a stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase. If an enemy psychic manifests a power within 24, on a 4+, it's negated. Sorry, 24 of any World Leaders units, it's negated. You're basically the Black Templars, but covered in blood and maybe cannibals. 1 CP for Apoplectic Frenzy. Use stratagem during deployment when you set up a World Leaders infantry unit from your army at the start of the first battle round before they begin to move 9 inches. Don't come within 9. If the players both have this ability, the players taking the first turn moves units first. 1 CP for Skulls for the Skull Throne. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when an enemy character model is destroyed as a result of an attack made with a melee weapon by a World Leader's character model from your army. Gain D3 command points. 2 CPs for the Red Butchers. Use stratagem before the battle. Select a World Leader's Chaos Terminator unit from your army. Add one of their strength characteristic of models, and they gain the following ability. Blood for the Blood Rod. This unit can fight twice in each fight phase instead of just once. You use a stratagem once per battle. That's pretty cool. 1 CP for Kill, Maim, Burn. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when you consolidate a World Leaders unit from your army. Into the end of the phase, they can consolidate 6 instead of 3. 1 CP for Wild Fury. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when you select a World Leaders unit from your army to fight with. Until the end of the phase, improve their AP by 1. 1 CP for Stoke the Nails. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a World Leaders infantry or biker unit from your army that's not a character or cast called is chosen to fight. To the end of the phase, the unit's Death for the False Emperor ability takes effect when targeting any enemy units, not just Imperium. But when against Imperium, it's on a 5+. And then 2 CP for Blood for the Blood God. Use a stratagem in the fight phase after an enemy unit's destroyed as a result of an attack made by a World Leader model in your army. Until the start of your next turn, when a morale test is taken for a friendly World Leaders unit, do not roll the dice, it's automatically passed. And then some artifacts. The Crimson Killer for your Plasma Pistol. Pistol 1, Strength 9, -3, 3 damage. Resolving attack made with this weapon and a modified wound roll of 4+, inflicts a mortal wound on the target, in addition to any other normal damage. The Gorefather, replace a chain axe, +2 strength, -2 save, 3 damage. Resolving attack with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. On an unmodified wound roll of 6, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. That's great. Banner of Rage, priests only. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, a model with the relic can unfurl the Banner of Rage. Add 1 of the attack characteristic of friendly World Leaders units within 6 inches of the model. The Berserker Glaive replaces a power axe or axe of dismemberment. It's +1 strength, -2 save, 2 damage. When the bearer would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 5+, it's not lost. The Helm of Führer, infantry only. Add 2 of the strength characteristic of a model with this relic. At the start of your charge phase, if a model with this relic is within 8 of enemy units, it must charge. And then Blood Hunger. When an enemy model is destroyed in the fight phase, as a result of an attack made by a model with this relic, roll a d6. On a 4+, the model with the relic regains a lost wound, because he eats you. And what's my super sweet World Leader name? Haska Axe Fist. Korgor the Cleaver. Baska the Reaper. Garrick the Furious. Narax the Maimer. Brek Gorum. Trusk the Eightfold. Rook Spine Crusher. Oh, Corn, you're so metal. And that's it. We're done. Look at that. We got through. That might be the most rules packed into a 40K supplement I've ever seen. It's 7 supplemental codexes, a bunch of new character types for just the starties. That's a lot of junk. That's a lot of stuff. And no less than 7 name generators. So many name generators. And then 19 pages of fluff about Talatot that we don't really know a lot about, except that it's bad. Corpharon's doing things there. We should defend it. That would be good. Go Sisters. It's Acts of Faith. Go Sisters and Templars. I like this book. I don't know. Reading through the fluff, I mean, there is fluff there. There is a MacGuffin for all this stuff being together. And it's nice that they use this as an opportunity to upgrade the Chaos Space Marine book to have all the toys the Space Marines do. It's funny because they're kind of stuck now where if you add something to a Starties, you kind of have to add it to all of them, but they're leapfrogging codexes a little bit where you're one's behind, the other's ahead. They're using these kind of as a way of like pushing stuff up. So I like it in that it feels fair to Chaos Space Marine players, right? We've added 6 new supplemental codexes. I really do hope they eventually get to do the Chaos Legions the way that the supplements have happened for the Space Marines regular, like normal Starty Space Marines, because some people have been playing those like Space Marine chapters and Legions for like decades. And finally having a codex, there's a real feeling of like legitimacy and like having made it to get that stuff. I just hope that like the Alpha Legion, like that they all get it eventually. They all get that like, you know, 30 to 40 pages of fluff. The 8 pages of rules or whatever. It's in here now. Like, you're not going to get much more than that in the supplemental codex. Most of the chapters didn't get much more than what's in here. So you're really just missing on like the color sections and the codex parts. I hope they get there eventually. But it just feels like it's all add-ons to books that already exist. So in a way I'm happy. I do feel like there's some winners and losers here. The Tech Marine one I think is probably the winner as far as like the Master of the Chapter go. Maybe the Apothecary one. I don't see myself ever using Company Champion. I don't see myself ever using maybe the Chief Librarian. If you didn't have one, like if you don't have a special character one, it's already just like better, like Nyal or somebody. I don't know. I like the fact that it added all the stuff that was missing that the Space Marines got to the Chaos Space Marine book. I like the fact the Black Templars are in here and got a book. I'm not sure why they weren't in the Imperial Fist book. Like I don't feel like they're different enough, I guess, that they should be their own book. Yeah, I guess that's the logical reason why. And they did get a little bit of fluff in this too, which is nice. They got closer to, actually I should just see how many pages it is, because they got closer to a full like supplement. 40 to 50, they got 15 pages of stuff. A bit of history, not as many color sections, all the data sheets, right down to the name generator. So you got 15 pages worth of stuff, whereas most of the chapters got 5. All the Chaos chapters got 5. You got page 6 actually, 60 to 65. So it's nice Templars got that. I think that's cool. And the mission's neat too. I do like that they alluded to like the endless spells. I think that is coming. I think that's a thing that we're gonna see in the next edition, is endless psych powers or acts of faith or whatever. Yeah, it's a cool book. It adds a bunch. I mean, everybody kind of got something. So if you're a Space Marine player, this book is now in your backpack of stuff to take to your games, because like, there's a bunch of stuff you can do now. If you're a Black Templar player, this is your codex. If you're one of the Chaos Space Marine Legions that's using the Legion rules, or even just want to use the demon weapons, then this is an add-on for you too. So hope you enjoyed that review. You can check out my review of the Sisters of Battle Army set, also up today, by clicking up in the cards or just going to my channel page and checking that out too. That's kind of the in parallel release for this book right here. The rest of the faith stuff to go with the Templars, talking about the Shrine Worlds and what's going on in Talatot and how this is about becoming more and more sort of like, they're the only ones noticing what Corferon's doing, and how the World Bearers are kind of like planting just some seeds of chaos, disruption, chaos out there. So I'm going to crack the box open, take a look at all the sprues, take a look at what's in the codex, and do another GMG review. So we'll see you next time for more of this. Till then, I'm Ash. Not working. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.